In the Gospel of Mark, in chapter 10, we read, "Then James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to him. 'Teacher,' they said, 'we want you to do for us whatever we ask.' 'What do you want me to do for you?' Jesus asked. They replied, 'Let one of us sit at your right and the other at your left in your glory.' 'You don't know what you're asking,' Jesus said. 'Can you drink the cup I drink or be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with?' 'We can,' they answered. Jesus said to them, 'You will drink the cup I drink and be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with. But to sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared.' When the 10 heard about this, they became indignant with James and John. And Jesus called them together and said, 'You know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many.'" Imagine you were granted one wish right now. Do you know right away what you would wish for? Health or wealth or security or happiness or that your loved ones are well? There are so many wishes. Some are so big that they are unfulfillable. Some are, at least at first glance, superficial. Some are very, very personal. Almost all wishes are unpredictable. You don't know what it will actually mean when they are fulfilled. Whether they make you happy or not. Whether life will be better or whether you become unhappy or something completely different happens. Wishes are unpredictable because you see only the small part of your wish and not the big picture. You don't know what you're going to get when you wish for something and whether it is good or not. 2 disciples, one wish. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus and said to him, "Teacher, we want you to grant us one request." When the time finally comes for him to reign, they want to sit very close to Jesus. So to get something of his splendor and power, a kind of reward for having gone with him. They have given up everything. They went with him from the Sea of Galilee, leaving behind their work as a fisherman, their homes, even their families. They left everything. And I think it's not too much to ask that you do not know what you're asking for, Jesus said. You really do not know. You have no idea what is about to happen. You still think Jesus will reign. Soon the breakthrough will come, the dawn of the kingdom of God, of which he always speaks. They think Jesus will soon be sitting on top, and they with him. And they will be glorified. After all, as they have always been there, always faithful, and everyone will see what significance they have. You do not know what you're asking. You have no idea what is coming, Jesus says. The way of Jesus does not lead directly upwards, but it will lead to Jerusalem. And not to glorification, to the beginning of his kingdom, but to the cross. No one can drink this cup. No one can be baptized with that baptism. That alone is the way of Jesus. And yet, differently, we are taken into it. We drink from this cup at the Lord's Supper, and thus have our place in the fellowship with Jesus. We baptize children and adults with that baptism, and include them into the fellowship with Jesus. He goes ahead, and we follow because he opens the way for us. Jesus says, "You will indeed drink up the cup I drink, and you will take upon yourselves the baptism with which I am baptized. But it's not for me to decide who will sit on my right or left. There will sit those whom God has appointed. It's just not Jesus' business. His business is to clear the way by going ahead of us, to open the heavens. He is not an usher, but a door opener. And the question of who sits where there one day, that is the question of who is how important to God and more important to others than others. The question is not yet important. Everything will already find its order. Everything will be all right. There is a plan, and to know that must be enough. Concentrate on the path, Jesus says. God will do his own. And then it's the same thing as always. When someone wants a special place, there are always others who don't agree with that. The other 10 listened to the conversation and were angry with James and John. Then Jesus called them over and said to them, "You know that those who are considered rulers of the nations oppress the people over whom they rule, and the rulers abuse their power, but it is not so with you. Whoever of you wants to be great, let him serve others, and whoever of you wants to be first shall be the servant of all." The kingdom of God is not a competition and not a tournament. The question is not who stands where on the podium at the end. Those who think like this, are not looking at Jesus, but at themselves. They want to secure the best place at the expense of others. Because if they themselves want to sit at the head, in the place of honor, it means that someone else has to sit at the end of the table. Such thinking, it's all about me. Such thinking, Jesus says, you should not have. You know, those who are considered rulers, because in reality they are no rulers but little guys who believe that there is only winning or losing, and who derive their value from how much power they have. Honestly, is that life? But it's not like that with you guys. Whoever wants to be great among you should serve others, and whoever wants to be first among you, let him be the servant of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served. On the contrary, he came to serve others, and to give his life as a ransom for many people. Like Jesus, we should do it. Open doors instead of allocating places. Enabling instead of limiting. Love instead of fear. On Friday, there was a balloon hanging in the tree just above me in front of the church. And it had the shape of a 2, probably from a birthday, from a 2nd or 20th or 25th birthday or whatever. And it was hanging there as if the balloon wanted to say, be second, not first, dear church. That's enough for a feast. That's enough to shine. That is enough. Whoever of you wants to be great, let him serve others. And whoever wants to be first, let him be the servant of all. You are great when you do God's will. You are great when you do what serves life. And if you live truly and honestly to yourself. You are great if you practice love and you can accept it. You are great if you learn to live with your weaknesses and do not look down on others. You are great if you do God's will. You are great if you follow Jesus. You will get a place because he has already opened the door. And that's all you have to know. Amen.